Let me stay here and I'll give you what no human woman can. Alien woman begging. Commander Elias Ward, a tall man with sharp eyes and a mind that had saved his crew from countless disasters, was the first to notice it on the station's wide observation deck. "Unscheduled arrival," muttered Ward, his voice calm but alert. "Scan it. Identify immediately." The sensors beeped furiously, confirming an object moving through the outer perimeter. It wasn't a standard ship. The craft had no markings, no visible weapons, and a strange energy signature that didn't match anything in the human registry. Lieutenant Maris, his second-in-command, frowned. "Sir, it's small, almost like a pod, but the energy fluctuations, it's alive in some way, not mechanical." Ward's eyes narrowed. "Prepare the docking clamps, bring it in, and open the external cameras. I want a visual." The crew watched silently as the pod glided toward the station, moving with a fluidity unlike any human-made ship. When it docked, a soft hum filled the hangar bay. The inner door hissed open. Then she appeared. The alien was unlike anything humans had ever seen. She stood roughly the height of a human woman, but had delicate, shimmering skin that reflected the light like a living prism. Her eyes were large and deep, the color of pale amethyst, and they held a mixture of fear and hope. She moved carefully, almost cautiously, as if the station itself might harm her. Ward stepped forward, hands resting lightly on his belt. "Identify yourself?" The alien bowed slightly. "I am Elira," she said, her voice soft but clear. "I come seeking refuge, I mean no harm." Maris glanced at Ward, puzzled. "Refuge? From what? We don't know any wars out here, nothing in our sector." Elira's expression tightened. "I am being hunted. My people, my world is gone. I have knowledge that could save you, save worlds you call uninhabitable." Ward's jaw tightened. "And why should we believe you? You arrive without permission, without identification. That's against every human protocol." "I know," she replied, her voice trembling slightly. "But I have nowhere else to go. If I am turned away, all will be lost." "You must listen. You must at least hear me." The room fell silent. The humans prided themselves on control, on rules, and on the belief that their way was the only way. An alien like this, soft-spoken, fragile, and yet strange, challenged everything they knew. Ward signaled to the security team, "Escort her to the holding quarters, no weapons unless she acts." As Elira was guided through the station corridors, she paused at a window, staring out at the swirling stars. "Your world, it is alive," she whispered, almost to herself. "But humans do not see it. You take without understanding. You build without balance. It is beautiful and fragile." Ward followed, curious despite himself. "What do you mean by balance?" Elira turned, her eyes meeting his. "I can teach you. I can give you knowledge that no human has ever held. Ways to live with worlds, not just on them. But you must let me stay." Maris, who had been watching closely, whispered to Ward, "Sir, she's offering something incredible. But can we trust her?" Ward didn't answer. He already knew that decisions in space were never simple. Every action had consequences. In the holding quarters, Elira knelt, closing her eyes. She murmured words in a language that was fluid and musical, and a faint shimmer spread through the room. The air seemed to hum, and the plants in the small hydroponics section brightened, leaves stretching as if waking from a long sleep. Maris gasped. What did she do?" Elira opened her eyes. "I can heal not just plants, worlds. I can restore what humans destroy. But it will take trust. Will you trust me or will you cast me out?" Ward felt a strange unease. Humans were explorers, conquerors, problem solvers. They were not used to being taught by others, especially not by someone who looked so different. And yet the way the station's systems had responded, the way the plants had thrived, it was undeniable. "Commander," Maris said quietly, "she may be telling the truth. Our crops have been failing, radiation drift from the nearby star is affecting the hydroponics. If she can fix it," Ward considered this. He had always trusted human ingenuity, and yet sometimes survival demanded something more, something beyond protocol. He walked to Elira. "We will observe you, but no interference with station operations without permission. Understood?" Elira nodded, a small smile forming. "I understand, and I will prove myself." Over the next few days, Elira worked quietly, speaking to the plants, adjusting nutrient cycles, and even touching the station's environmental systems. Slowly, the hydroponics recovered. Crops that had been dying began to grow lush and strong. Sensors indicated the energy levels in the station were stabilizing. The crew began to notice small, subtle changes. Machines seemed to operate more efficiently. Even the air felt cleaner, easier to breathe. For the first time in months, the station felt alive again. Despite her help, suspicion lingered. Elira was an outsider. Could her intentions truly be pure, or was there some hidden agenda? Ward decided to test her. "Elira," he said one evening, "if what you say is true, if you really can help worlds, then we may need your knowledge in ways you cannot imagine. Are you prepared for that responsibility?" Elira's eyes shone with determination. "I am. I came here to give, not to take." "Humanity has strength, Commander, but there are things humans cannot do alone. Together we can change the stars themselves." Ward studied her for a long moment. Humanity had always faced threats with courage and firepower, but this was different. It required openness, humility, and trust, qualities humans often overlooked. "Very well," he said finally. "You will remain here for now, but remember, one misstep, one act of deceit, and you will be removed from this station. Understand?" "I understand," Elira said softly. That night, Ward stood alone on the observation deck, staring at the distant stars. The galaxy was vast, full of dangers and wonders. And now, somewhere among them, a new force had arrived. One that could change everything humans thought they knew about strength, survival, and what it meant to be truly powerful. A small voice whispered in his mind, almost as if carried on the cosmic winds. "Let me stay here, and I will show you what no human can." Ward clenched his jaw. He wasn't sure if he believed her yet, but he knew one thing. The frontier had just become far more dangerous and far more exciting. The next day, Elira approached him again, holding a tiny sprout that had grown overnight in the hydroponics bay. "This is only the beginning," she said. "If you let me stay, Commander, I will teach you things humanity has never known, things that could change the fate of your worlds." Ward looked at the sprout, then at her eyes, so filled with hope, so unlike anything he had ever seen. A part of him resisted, clinging to rules and tradition. But another part, the part that had survived countless dangers in the void, whispered the truth. Sometimes the unknown was humanity's greatest ally. And so Elira stayed. The frontier station, long a place of solitude and isolation, had just become the stage for a story that could ripple across the stars. Humans were about to learn that strength wasn't just in firepower or technology. It was in wisdom, trust, and courage of the heart. And Elira, she would be the teacher, the key, and perhaps the salvation humanity had never realized it needed. Days passed at Haven Point Station, but the quiet hum of normal routine was gone. Elira moved among the crew like a shadow of light, observing, learning, and teaching without forcing anyone to notice. Her presence was subtle, yet undeniable. Even Commander Ward felt it, like a gentle vibration in the air, a reminder that something extraordinary had arrived. Lieutenant Maris was the first to see the results clearly. She entered the hydroponics bay and froze. The crops, which had been failing under radiation drift from the nearby star, now glowed with an unnatural vitality. Leaves stretched outward, shimmering slightly as if breathing. They're thriving," Maris whispered to herself. "How is this even possible?" Elira appeared behind her, smiling faintly. "It is simple, yet humans overlook it. You water, feed, and measure. You build machines to monitor, to control, but you forget to listen to life itself." Maris frowned. "Listen to life?" Elira nodded. "Life communicates in ways humans cannot always sense. You rush, you force, you conquer. I do not. I guide, I nurture. The plants respond." "They are not machines to fix. They are partners." The lieutenant's brow furrowed. "This sounds almost like magic." Elira tilted her head. "It is not magic. It is understanding. Knowledge your species has not yet discovered." Word of Elira's abilities spread quickly through the station. Technicians, scientists, and engineers began observing her work. Slowly, skepticism gave way to curiosity, and curiosity to awe. One day, Ward called her into the station's observation chamber. Outside, the stars glimmered distant and cold, but the station glowed with quiet life. "Elira," Ward began, "your abilities with plants are remarkable, but Haven Point is small. What can you offer humans on a larger scale? You speak of knowledge humanity lacks." "What do you mean?" Elira's eyes sparkled. "Commander, your humans see planets as resources. You mine, terraform, extract. You survive, yes, but at what cost? I come from a world that is gone because we did the same. We believed we were powerful, but power without understanding is destruction." Ward leaned against the railing. "And you can prevent that. I can teach you ways to restore worlds," she said. "Not with weapons or machines, but with life itself." Plants, organisms, energies, all can be guided to heal a planet. You will see results that no human technology can achieve alone. The commander's mind raced. Humanity had been expanding through the stars for decades, but many planets were failing, ecosystems collapsing under careless human activity. Could this alien truly offer solutions beyond human comprehension? Meanwhile, the station began experiencing small, strange phenomena. Systems that had been temperamental stabilized. Machinery ran smoother. Even the crew reported feeling calmer, more focused. Elira did nothing overtly magical. She merely moved through the station, whispering to the systems as she passed. Lieutenant Maris watched her one evening. "Commander," she said, "I know it sounds impossible, but the station feels alive. Not like before when it was just metal and circuits, but like it's breathing." Ward frowned. "Breathing? It's a station, Lieutenant. It doesn't breathe." Elira overheard and smiled. "It does in a way. Life exists in all things, even in machines, if humans allow it. Your people have forgotten this. You see function and ignore harmony, but harmony is strength." Ward's mind returned to the failing hydroponics before her arrival. Had humanity truly ignored something so simple? That life itself, when respected and guided, could become a power greater than any weapon. Elira began showing small teams of scientists her techniques. She taught them to read energy flows, to sense subtle changes in ecosystems, to allow growth rather than force it. Slowly, humans began to understand the principles she used. One morning, the station received an alert. A nearby planet, rich in rare resources, had been failing for months. Radiation from its sun had increased, and previous attempts to terraform had failed catastrophically. Without intervention, the planet would be uninhabitable within weeks. Ward called a meeting in the command center. "We've tried everything. Machines, domes, climate controls, nothing has worked. If Elira's knowledge is real, this is the test." Elira stepped forward. "I do not ask for glory or reward. I only need permission to work. The planet is alive. It responds to guidance, not control. If you allow me, I can restore it." There were murmurs among the crew. Scientists were nervous. Failure on this scale could not only ruin the station's reputation, but also cost human lives in future colonization efforts. "Permission granted," Ward said finally. "You have 3 days before the next orbital scan. Show us results." Elira traveled with a small team to the planet's surface. She walked through barren fields, touching plants, soil, and water with delicate hands. Slowly, life began to respond. Small shoots sprouted in cracked soil. Rivers cleared as microorganisms Elira guided broke down pollutants. Even the planet's air seemed to shift, carrying a faint, sweet scent of new growth. The human scientists watched in disbelief. Their measurements confirmed what their eyes saw: biological processes accelerated, ecosystems stabilizing where machines had failed. One scientist, Dr. Renat Kessler, whispered, I can't believe it. She's actually doing it." Elira smiled faintly. "Humans have not failed because you lack skill. You fail because you act alone. Life cannot be conquered. It must be understood." Word of her success reached Haven Point Station. Crew members, even those who had doubted her, now began to respect Elira not just as an alien, but as a teacher. Yet not all humans were pleased. Some saw her as a threat. Rumors spread that she might be manipulating the station, the crops, even the crew's minds. Ward confronted these fears directly. "Elira has done nothing but help," he said at a station-wide briefing. "We will not allow fear to blind us to what she offers. She is here to guide us, to teach us how to survive, and to make us stronger than we ever thought possible." Humans are strong, yes, but even strength must learn humility. Elira remained silent, bowing her head slightly. Her expression was calm, yet inside she knew humans were learning slowly. They valued control over harmony, certainty over trust, but she had patience. She had survived the fall of her own civilization, and humans, she saw potential. That night, Ward walked through the hydroponics bay alone. Elira was tending to plants as usual, murmuring softly. He watched her for a moment before speaking. "You said humanity has much to learn," he said. "But do you really think we can change?" She looked up, eyes shining in the soft lights. "Commander, humans are remarkable. You survive in conditions no other species could endure. You explore without hesitation. You build, create, and fight for life itself. But you must learn balance. Power without understanding destroys. You have the strength to do what others cannot if you choose to see it." Ward nodded slowly. "And if we fail?" Then you will survive, but the stars may lose something precious. Your species has potential beyond your reckoning. That is what I offer, knowledge no human has yet held. That is my gift." The commander stared at her, thinking about the frontier, the failures, and the victories humanity had experienced. He realized that Elira's gift was not just knowledge of ecosystems or biology. It was something deeper. She offered humans a chance to grow, to become more than conquerors, more than survivors. She offered them wisdom, and wisdom had always been rare in the galaxy. Over the next few weeks, Elira continued her lessons. Humans began experimenting with her techniques on minor planets, stabilizing failing ecosystems, restoring crops, and even learning to predict natural changes with greater accuracy. The crew of Haven Point began to whisper about her not as an outsider, but as a partner, even a guide. Children in the station's education bay watched her with awe as she demonstrated the simple, quiet ways of listening to life. Engineers marveled at her efficiency, realizing that sometimes the most complex problems had the simplest solutions. But the universe was never quiet for long. Unbeknownst to the humans, beyond their sector, a new threat was moving. Elira sensed it before the sensors did, an energy wave from a distant star system, a signal that carried intent and intelligence. She frowned. "Commander Ward," she said, approaching him as he reviewed the station's reports, "there is something coming. Humans are strong, yes, but they face dangers they cannot yet see. My knowledge will help, but your species must be ready to act." Ward straightened. "What do you mean?" She shook her head, eyes darkening. "Not yet, but soon you will understand. And when that time comes, humans will need more than strength. They will need wisdom, courage, and unity. They must learn to see what they cannot touch and understand what they cannot control." For the first time, Ward felt a chill in the air that no radiation or mechanical failure could explain. Elira's presence was not just a gift, it was a warning. And humanity, as proud and capable as it was, might not yet be ready for the challenges beyond the stars. Yet one thing was certain. Humanity would never face those challenges alone, not while Elira remained. And in that quiet, glowing hydroponics bay, as the plants stretched and shimmered, humans began to understand something vital. Strength was more than force. Survival was more than resilience. To thrive in the galaxy, humans must learn what they had always overlooked, the value of life itself. The calm of Haven Point Station was shattered one morning by a series of urgent alerts. Radar screens flashed red, showing a massive energy signature moving toward human-controlled space. The station's communication channels buzzed with incoming reports. Trading ships were being intercepted, satellites disrupted, and a distant colony had already lost contact. Commander Elias Ward stood on the observation deck, eyes narrowed at the display. His mind raced. Humanity had always faced dangers in space, pirates, cosmic storms, even rogue machines, but this felt different. There was intelligence in the movement, a purpose beyond random destruction. Lieutenant Maris joined him, her brow furrowed. "Sir, the readings, they're huge. Whoever is coming is faster and smarter than anything we've seen before. Our fleets might not even reach them in time." Ward clenched his jaw. "Then we'll need more than fleets. We need answers. Elira." Elira stepped forward from behind them, her expression calm but serious. "I sense this," she said softly. "It is not just a force of nature. It is a civilization foreign but organized and dangerous. They are moving to conquer, not negotiate." Ward's eyes narrowed. "Conquer humans?" Elira nodded. "Not just humans, any species in their path. They are hunters in every sense. They understand technology, strategy, and war, but not harmony. That is why I survived and why they failed to reach my home world. They underestimate the strength that comes from understanding life itself." Maris glanced at him, eyes wide. "So what do we do?" Ward exhaled slowly. "We prepare, but Elira, you said they underestimate strength from understanding life. Can you teach us what you mean?" Elira nodded. "I can, but humans must act quickly. Their advance will reach this sector within days. Weapons alone will not stop them. They are adaptable, persistent, and relentless. To survive, humans must adapt too, not just with machines, but with knowledge and strategy that flows from life itself." Ward studied her, considering her words. Humanity prided itself on firepower, ingenuity, and resilience. But Elira was suggesting something deeper, something the humans had never truly embraced. "I will help," Elira continued. But you must trust me, trust my methods even when they seem strange. Ward looked at her, then at Mary's. We don't have the luxury of skepticism. Do it. Show us. Elira moved through the station, examining the hydroponics bays, the life support systems, and even the structural elements of Haven Point. She touched plants, walls, and equipment, whispering words humans could not understand. Slowly, the station itself seemed to respond. Energy flows stabilized, machines operated more efficiently, and even the crew reported a newfound sense of focus. Mary's watched in awe. It's like she's connected to everything. Elira smiled faintly. I feel the flow of life, machines, plants, even humans. You are not separate from the universe, Commander. You are part of it. And when you act in harmony with it, your strength multiplies. Ward considered this. If she was right, the approaching force could be countered not just with weapons, but with something humans had never understood, synergy with life itself. The next day, Elira proposed a plan. We will create a defensive system unlike any you have seen. Not walls, not weapons alone, but living networks, plants, bioengineered organisms, and life-enhancing energy fields. They will protect Haven Point and buy time for your fleets to organize. Some scientists protested. It's untested. It might fail. Ward silenced them with a gesture. We don't have time for doubt. Elira, lead. Mary's, coordinate with the fleet. Make it happen. Elira worked tirelessly, moving between the station and nearby orbital platforms. She taught humans to weave life and technology together. Plants that absorbed energy and released shields, microorganisms that could clean and repair damaged systems, and even neural networks linked to the station's mainframe. Slowly, a living defense began to take shape. As the first orbital scans of the approaching fleet appeared, the humans saw their enemy, sleek, dark ships moving with precision, each vessel bristling with advanced weaponry. It was a force unlike anything humanity had faced. Ward's hand rested on the console. Mary's, can our new defenses hold? Mari shook her head. I don't know, sir, but if Elira's methods work, we might survive long enough to fight back. When the enemy fleet entered the sector, the results were immediate. Energy shields created by Elira's living systems absorbed blasts that would have destroyed traditional armor. Adaptive plants extended over platforms, slowing enemy boarding attempts. Microorganisms repaired hull breaches faster than any repair drones could. The humans were stunned. Their traditional strategies were useful, yes, but it was Elira's knowledge that gave them the edge. One officer, Lieutenant Core, shouted from the command center, Commander, the enemy can't predict our movements. Their targeting systems are failing. Ward nodded grimly. Then we fight smarter, not harder. Elira, keep guiding the systems. Everyone else follow her lead. Elira moved among them, calm and focused. She whispered to the systems as if speaking to old friends, her words invisible yet powerful. Slowly, the humans began to understand her vision. Strength was not in dominance. It was in harmony, foresight, and adaptability. The battle stretched on for hours, each moment tense and uncertain. The enemy adjusted, adapting to human attacks, but Elira's living systems countered each move. Crew members who had once doubted her now relied on her guidance entirely. During a brief lull, Ward approached Elira. You knew this would happen, didn't you? You knew they would come, she nodded. I felt it in the flow of the stars. Your species is strong, yes, but you do not see all threats. This is a lesson, Commander, not just in survival, but in understanding your place in the universe. Ward frowned. And if we fail? Elira's gaze was steady. Then humanity survives, but the opportunity to grow stronger is lost. Strength without wisdom is dangerous, but humans can rise beyond that. I believe in your potential. The enemy fleet continued its advance, but slowly, ship by ship, their attack faltered. Systems that once seemed invincible now struggled against the living defenses. Humans learned quickly under Elira's guidance, combining traditional tactics with her teachings. For the first time, Ward felt a new kind of pride, not just in human ingenuity, but in their capacity to learn, to adapt, and to embrace wisdom from an outsider. Humanity's greatest strength, he realized, was not the size of their weapons or the speed of their ships, but their ability to grow beyond their limitations. After what seemed like an eternity, the enemy fleet began to retreat, forced back by a combination of human strategy and Elira's living defenses. The station had survived. Humanity had survived. Ward looked at Elira, gratitude and awe in his eyes. You've changed everything. Not just this battle, but the way humans see strength. Elira smiled faintly. I have shown what is possible, Commander, but the galaxy is vast. There will be more challenges, more forces that underestimate humans. You must remember this lesson always. Mari stepped forward, her eyes bright. Commander, they'll come back, and next time it may be worse. Ward nodded. Then we will be ready. Thanks to Elira, we now have something no enemy can predict, humans who understand life itself. That is strength they cannot fight. As the station repaired and the crew celebrated, Elira stood quietly near the observation deck, watching the stars. She could feel the flow of energy through the cosmos, the subtle movements, the hidden dangers, the potential waiting to be unlocked. She had survived the fall of her own world, and now she would help humanity survive, not just by teaching them to fight, but by teaching them to see, to understand, and to grow. The galaxy was full of threats, and humans were not invincible. But with Elira's guidance, they had discovered something far more important: the power of wisdom, cooperation, and trust. And that power would shape the future of humanity in ways they could not yet imagine. The calm after the battle at Haven Point Station was brief. Commander Elias Ward stood on the observation deck, staring at the distant stars, feeling the weight of the galaxy pressing down on him. Elira had saved them once, guiding humanity's defenses with knowledge humans had never imagined. But Ward knew the universe would not forgive complacency. Reports arrived quickly. Another fleet, larger and more organized, was moving toward human space. Intelligence suggested this enemy had studied Haven Point's defenses, learned from their failures, and adapted. If they struck, no station, no fleet would be safe. Ward turned to Elira. We need your guidance again. Can we hold them off? Elira's pale eyes were steady, but a shadow passed across her face. I can help, she said quietly, but even my abilities have limits. The living systems I create require energy, care, and my own strength. The more I give, the more I weaken myself. Ward frowned. We don't have the luxury of limits. The galaxy is unforgiving. She looked at him directly. Humans can do things no one else can. You survive in impossible conditions. You think, plan, and adapt. I can guide, but the true power must come from you. Together we will face this challenge. But humanity must step forward, or I cannot hold the line alone. Lieutenant Maris approached, concern in her eyes. Sir, Elira is asking us to do more than follow orders. She's asking us to trust her and to act beyond what we think we can do. Ward nodded. Then we will do it. Humanity has never faced the stars alone, and we will not start now. Elira began immediately. She moved through the station and nearby orbital platforms, weaving plants, organisms, and energy fields into living defenses. The station itself became a network of life, responding to energy flows and adjusting in real time. Crew members worked alongside her, learning the principles of balance and adaptation. The humans were eager but untrained. They struggled at first, trying to control life with machines instead of understanding it. Elira's voice guided them constantly, patient but firm. Do not force it, do not rush. Life is not a tool. Listen, respond, adapt. Ward watched from the command center as humans and alien worked together. The progress was remarkable. Within hours, the station's systems were stabilized, and the defensive perimeter strengthened with living barriers that could absorb attacks, repair themselves, and even redirect energy to protect vital structures. Then the first wave of the enemy arrived. Sleek black ships appeared like shadows against the stars, moving with precision and purpose. They unleashed their weapons immediately, aiming to destroy Haven Point before humans could react. Shields holding, Maris shouted from the control console. The living defenses are absorbing their energy, but it's only slowing them down. Elira moved among the systems, her hands hovering over panels, whispering to plants, organisms, and circuits alike. Slowly, the station's energy fields adapted, deflecting blasts and repairing damage faster than humans could comprehend. Ward realized then what Elira had meant. Strength alone would not save them. Strategy alone would not save them. It was the combination of human ingenuity, courage, and her guidance, life itself, that created a force the enemy could not predict. Hours passed. The battle raged with constant pressure. Humans coordinated attacks from orbital platforms, their ships working in sync with the living defenses. Elira's systems shifted in real time, closing weak points and enhancing strengths. But Elira's voice grew faint. She struggled to maintain the energy flow, and Ward noticed her hands trembling. "Commander," she said softly, "I cannot hold this much longer. The more I give, the weaker I become. You must take the lead." Ward turned to Maris. "Do you see what she's asking? This is our chance to prove humanity can do more than survive. We must act, think, and fight together. Elira cannot do it alone." Maris nodded. "Then we coordinate with the fleets. Everyone follow her guidance, but use your own judgment. Think, adapt, and act. Humanity is stronger than we know." Ward took a deep breath. "All stations, all ships, coordinate with the living defenses. This is no longer just about shields or weapons. Listen to Elira's guidance, but use your minds. Humanity must show what no one else can." The tide of battle began to change. Humans moved with confidence, predicting enemy maneuvers, using the station's living systems to outsmart attacks. Ships once thought vulnerable now found paths to strike the enemy while avoiding direct confrontation. Elira, though weakened, continued to guide them. Every time a crew member hesitated, she whispered encouragement. Every time a system faltered, she adjusted it with her life energy. She was giving more than humans could ever repay, but they were learning. Slowly, they were becoming a force she could trust. At the peak of the battle, an enemy ship broke through the outer defenses and aimed directly at the station's core. Ward's heart pounded. If it hit, Haven Point would be destroyed. "Targeting that ship now," Maris shouted. "Elira, can you?" Elira shook her head weakly. "Not alone, you must act." Ward's mind raced. Humanity had technology, ships, and trained crews, but could they stop a vessel designed to crush them without her direct guidance? Then he remembered her words. Humans could do what no one else could, strength and ingenuity together. "All ships focus on coordinated attack," Ward commanded. "Use every advantage, every system, every calculation. Humanity acts as one." Humans executed with precision. Ships flanked, weapons fired in perfect timing, and living systems manipulated energy flows to create openings. The enemy ship faltered, disabled, and was finally neutralized by the combined effort of humans and Elira's guidance. The battle ended, the enemy fleet retreating into the void. Haven Point Station was battered but alive. The living defenses, though damaged, had held. Humans had faced a force far superior in technology and strategy, and survived. Ward approached Elira, who was resting against a wall, exhausted. Her pale face was sweaty and her breathing was heavy. "You did it," he said, his voice soft but filled with awe. "We did it. Humanity, we survived because of you." Elira shook her head faintly. "Not because of me, Commander. Because of you, I guided but humans acted. You listened, adapted, and worked together. That is what no human can do alone. What you proved today is beyond technology or strength. It is wisdom, courage, and unity." Maris joined them, smiling despite exhaustion. "She's right, sir. We faced impossible odds, but we found a way to succeed. Humans, we can do this. We can survive, grow, and thrive, even in the face of the unknown." Elira's lips curved into a small smile. "Your species has potential. You fight, yes, but you also learn. You care not just for yourselves, but for the lives around you. That is what makes you strong, and that is why the galaxy has not yet defeated you." Ward placed a hand on her shoulder. "And we will keep learning, Elira. We will not forget this lesson." For the first time, Elira allowed herself to rest fully. Humanity had proven itself capable of what no single being, not even her, could do alone. The galaxy would continue to challenge them, but the bond formed in this battle, between human courage and alien wisdom, was a force unmatched. The stars outside the observation deck were quiet once more, but the crew of Haven Point knew the calm was temporary. Other threats would come, but now they understood something critical. Victory was not just in weapons or numbers, but in knowledge, cooperation, and courage, the strengths that made humans unique. And Elira, though weakened, knew she had made a difference. Humans had faced the impossible and learned to do what no one else could. Her gift had been guidance, but the humans had discovered their own strength. As the station repaired itself and crews worked tirelessly, Elira looked at the stars with a quiet determination. Humanity had grown, but the galaxy was vast, full of dangers and full of opportunities. She whispered softly to herself, almost like a promise, "They are ready, and together we will face whatever comes next." And for the first time, Commander Ward truly believed her. Humanity had not only survived, they had learned, adapted, and become stronger than ever before. The galaxy would take notice. The quiet after the battle at Haven Point Station was not peace, but preparation. Commander Elias Ward stood on the observation deck, looking out at the stars. The galaxy stretched endlessly before him, dark and silent, yet brimming with possibilities and dangers. Humanity had survived what many believed impossible, thanks to Elira's guidance. But Ward knew this was only the beginning. Elira walked beside him, her steps slower now, her strength visibly waning. The battles had drained her, but her mind remained sharp. "Commander," she said softly, "you have learned quickly, but the galaxy will test you again. Your species is strong, yes, but strength without wisdom is incomplete." Ward nodded. "And you've shown us what wisdom can do. Humans, we can adapt, we can survive, and we can grow. But what happens when the next enemy comes? What if we face something we cannot even see?" Elira smiled faintly. "Then you will remember what you learned here. You will act together, trust each other, and use knowledge as your weapon. That is what makes humans unique, what no other species possesses fully." The station's sensors picked up a faint signal, distant but undeniable. A small fleet was approaching, not hostile but curious. Communication channels crackled with voices from an alien species humanity had never encountered. Ward turned to Elira. "Do you know them?" "I do not," she admitted. "But they respond to signals of life and growth. They will sense the living systems we created. How we act will determine whether they are friends or foes." Ward's brow furrowed. "Then we act carefully." The aliens arrived in orbit, sleek ships gliding silently. Ward ordered the station to maintain normal operations, with living defenses in place as a precaution. Elira guided the crew, teaching them subtle signals, small gestures of communication, and the ways to show cooperation without aggression. The alien fleet responded cautiously. They observed the station, the living systems, and the humans. Then, slowly, they initiated contact. A holographic figure appeared in the main communication chamber, tall, luminous, and unfamiliar, yet not hostile. Ward stepped forward. "I am Commander Elias Ward of Haven Point Station. We mean no harm." The figure's voice was melodic and calm. "We have sensed your actions. We see life guided, not destroyed. You are different from other humans we have studied. Why do you protect what others exploit?" Ward looked at Elira, who gave a small nod. He turned back to the hologram. "Because life is valuable. Because survival is not just about strength, but understanding. Humanity has learned with guidance that we are stronger when we work with the universe, not against it." The alien paused. "You possess knowledge no human alone can have. And yet you share it freely, with trust, with care. This is remarkable." Ward felt a surge of pride. Humanity had faced impossible odds, adapted, and survived. They had done what no other species might manage, not because of technology or numbers, but because of courage, wisdom, and cooperation. Elira stepped forward, her voice gentle but firm. "Your species will see challenges no one else can. Humans must learn to act with life, to guide and protect, not merely conquer. This is what has kept them alive this long, and what will allow them to thrive." The aliens studied the station, the humans, and the living systems. Then the hologram spoke again. "We offer friendship and knowledge. Your species has proven capable of understanding life, not merely exploiting it. There is much we can learn together." Ward allowed himself a small smile. Humanity had found allies, yes, but more importantly, they had proven their worth. They had shown that humans could rise above fear, beyond limits, and achieve what no single being could do alone. Elira watched silently, her energy low but her spirit strong. She had given all she could, yet humans had learned quickly. They were no longer entirely dependent on her guidance. They were growing, adapting, and thinking beyond themselves. Ward turned to her. "Elira, your work has changed humanity. You've given us more than life. You've given us vision. You can rest now." She shook her head faintly. "My role is not complete. There will always be challenges. But humans, they now know their potential. They can act even without me. That is the greatest gift I could hope for." Meanwhile, across the station, the crew worked tirelessly. The hydroponics thrived, the living defenses stabilized, and even the smallest systems of the station functioned better than ever. Humans had learned to guide life, to listen, to adapt, and to act with precision and care. Lieutenant Maris approached Ward. "Sir, I think this changes everything. Humanity is no longer just explorers or fighters. We can be guardians, protectors, and Elira has shown us how." Ward nodded. "Yes, and the galaxy will notice. Humans are not invincible, but we are capable of greatness. Not just strength, but wisdom, courage, and unity." That evening, Ward walked to the observation deck alone. Elira joined him, leaning on a small railing for support. Together, they watched the stars. "You've done well, Commander," Elira said softly. "Humans have potential beyond what you imagine. You survive, you adapt, and now you can teach others to value life." Ward smiled faintly. "We've learned from you, but humans, we are capable of more than we realized. We faced impossible odds and we survived. That is what makes us human." Elira's eyes shone with quiet pride. "And that is why the galaxy will not forget you. You are dangerous, not because you destroy, but because you protect. You can do what no one else can, because you act with understanding, not just power." The stars outside shimmered, distant and eternal. The galaxy was vast, full of challenges, dangers, and unknown wonders. Humanity had survived because they had learned to combine courage with wisdom, action with understanding. They had proven that strength alone was not enough. It was choice, unity, and vision that defined them. Elira looked at the crew below, bustling with life and energy. She knew her time on Haven Point was limited. Her strength could not last forever, but humanity's growth would continue. They had learned, adapted, and discovered something no one else could give them: the ability to see life as more than survival, to act with care, and to become greater than the sum of their parts. Ward spoke quietly, almost to himself. "The galaxy will challenge us again, and we will be ready. Humanity has learned what no human alone could achieve." Elira nodded, faint but steady. "And we will continue to grow together. Humans are capable of greatness. I have shown you the way, now it is yours to walk." The alien fleet that had come to observe now departed peacefully, their message clear. Humanity was no longer just a species to be watched, but a species to respect. And word of Haven Point's living defenses, guided by Elira's knowledge and human courage, spread across the galaxy. Humans had discovered something vital. Victory was not just in technology or strength. It was in wisdom, cooperation, and courage. They had faced impossible odds and learned to do what no one else could. Elira had given them guidance, but humans had discovered their own power. In the quiet glow of the observation deck, Ward, Maris, and Elira watched the stars. The galaxy was vast and full of challenges, but humanity had learned its lesson. To survive, they must act with understanding, not just force. They must work together, protect life, and rise to meet whatever came next. Elira finally rested, her energy nearly spent, but her spirit content. Humanity had proven itself capable of more than survival. They had proven that humans could thrive, adapt, and act with wisdom. They had discovered what no single being could give them alone: the strength to face the unknown, the courage to act with care, and the unity to succeed where others might fail. Ward turned to her one last time. "Thank you, Elira, for showing us the way, for trusting us, and for helping humanity see what no one else could." Elira smiled faintly, whispering, "You have already found it, Commander. The galaxy is yours to shape. Protect it wisely." And as the stars stretched endlessly before them, humanity understood its place in the cosmos. Not as conquerors, not as mere survivors, but as a species capable of greatness, guided by courage, wisdom, and the choice to act with understanding. The galaxy was vast, and the journey had only just begun, but humanity was ready.